Just tell us about this email and what it was like receiving it and what you all have talked about after getting it.
Sure. I got this email Saturday afternoon, about 3 p.m., and I felt absolutely infuriated getting this email with a demand within 48 hours to provide a response on what I did within the last week or face termination. This is clearly an attempt from Elon Musk to harass and bully and intimidate.
Does this bureaucrat really think that Americans are crying and lamenting and anxious over the fact that you might actually have to explain to us, the taxpayer who pay your salary, what is it that you actually do all day? Yeah, we're going to talk about this.
Let's get ready to rumble! You can't handle the truth. I'm surviving at the top of the line.
Hi, I'm Pastor Marty. Welcome to the Afternoon Drive. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and once you are, smack the bell, click the word all. That will give you notification of my rants, my ravings, my undeniably flawless reasonings. Please like and share this video. It's the only way that we get the word out that we're here. Thank you so much for watching and being a part of the Afternoon Drive. Well, the news just keeps going from bad to worse if you're a Democrat. Yes, the big polls came out once again over this past weekend, and on Sunday, the lying legacy corporate corrupt mainstream media was faced with the reality that the Harvard-Harris poll, not exactly a GOP-friendly poll by any stretch of the imagination, and they certainly don't like Donald Trump, and they always had him underwater against Kamala thought she was a hottie Harris. They have come out over the weekend and devastated Democrats and their minions in the news that despite the 24/7 negative press coverage of Elon Musk and Doge and what's happening to the bureaucracy in Washington, Donald Trump is still at a 54% approval rating across the nation. People love what he's doing. And when you really start breaking the polls down, 73% of Americans, 73% of Americans, that's 73% of Americans approve of what Doge is doing. Bump, ba-dum, bump. Now, Frank Luntz can waddle his way onto PMSNBC or CNN and try to explain that, well, Americans support the policy concept of holding government accountable and ending wasteful spending, but they don't want Elon Musk and Donald Trump taking a chainsaw to it. Wrong. And then again, Frank, you're wrong about just about every poll that you conduct. And seriously, dude, what's with the bad hairpiece? Anyway, back to the topic at hand. The more Donald Trump and Elon Musk report back to the American people of the absolute corruption and fraud they're finding, the angry the American people are getting. And they're not angry that bureaucrats, I gotta tell him an email to tell him 5 things I did last week. I pastor a church. Do you know from time to time the deacon board, the congregation, they have a right to know, what do I do all week? Just show up on Sunday and preach. Now, every church I've served has known, no, I put in 60, 70 hours a week, and that's just how I am. And they know that there's everything going on from visitation to counseling to designing new ministries and all that goes into implementing that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Anybody that works a regular job from time to time has to actually explain to their employer what they're doing. They're called productivity assessments. But see, government and this bloated bureaucracy has been just filled with these people that once they got their job, they just thought that, hey, I'm entitled to guaranteed pay increases, cost of living increases, health insurance, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if I come into work, I come in. If I don't, I don't. The fact that, the Trump administration said you are going to report back to the office, because we're finding out these people were, since COVID, not just not coming into the office, they're working remote. No, they were working other jobs on top of taking their government paycheck. There has been so much corruption. And when Donald Trump, what they keep trying to do is drive this wedge between Elon and Donald, because they failed at the courts. I had a conversation today. I won't say it was with one of my own misinformed children, who thinks that all the courts, even the Reagan-era judges, have stepped in and slapped Trump down with everything that he's doing with his overreach. No, none of it's been slapped down. There have been some stays, which mean pauses, which means the courts have said, we don't necessarily have enough information to make a ruling one way or the other here. And a couple of times that judges did say, stop. Other judges stepped in and said, go. We know that a lot of this is ultimately not, we won't know for a year or more until it gets to the Supreme Court on some of this stuff. And on a lot of this, Donald Trump is going to win. So until it's an actual permanent stop, he just keeps going, and his poll numbers keep going up. And the American people, yes, they love the chainsaw. I was like, well, what has he done? Well, have we noticed that the bleeding has stopped at the southern border? Have we noticed that the illegal criminals and the violent individuals are being put on planes and trains and sent back to where it was they came from? And that the Department of Justice is now busy rooting out people like AOC and other Americans who are giving illegals the information of where ICE and the federal agents will strike next. That's kind of borderline treason. That's all going to get interesting. Now remember, Trump's been in office a month. He's really just getting his key cabinet really rolling. I mean, Kash Patel is in. Dan Bongino is in. They're losing their minds over that. A talk show host. He was in the Secret Service. He was in the military. He was in law enforcement.
He tried to run for Congress and lost.
Kamala thought she was a Hottie Harris, tried to run for the Democratic nomination and didn't give above 1% in the polls and quit before the first primary, yet you guys turned around and made her vice president and then tried to coronate her as president. How'd that work out for you? At least Dan Bongino is actually served, and of course I love how they keep saying, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's a conspiracy theorist. Yeah. And he's been proven right over and over and over and over. Oh, I know you're upset because he accused the FBI of knowing who actually set those pipe bombs. Dan Bongino's not the only one that believes the FBI is involved in cover-up with that, as well as a few other things that have happened. But those people within the FBI are being rooted out. That's why we're listening to the demons in D.C. scream, as literally Donald Trump, the exorcist, has showed up with Elon, the priest, and they are sprinkling the holy water, and the demons are fleeing. Now, they want to keep driving this wedge between Elon and Donald Trump, and they said, well, Elon sends out this email that these people have got to respond. What did they do last week? Or they face firing, and even some of your own appointees have pushed back and said they don't have to do that. And Donald said, now wait a minute. Here's the context. Yes, Marco Rubio said to people at the State Department, you're involved in some top secret stuff that can't necessarily be just sent out over an email. Same with Kash Patel with the FBI. We can't talk about, an investigation and details of that. They're not upset with President Trump, and they're not upset with Elon. Listen to the president explain this to the lamestream media.
Some of the agency heads instructed their employees not to respond because they were waiting on further guidance, but Elon Musk's tweet said a failure to respond would be taken as a resignation. So there's been a disconnect in communications. Yeah. Are you concerned at all about that?
No. That was done in a friendly manner. Only things such as perhaps Marco at State Department, where they have very confidential things, or the FBI, where they're working on confidential things. And they don't mean that in any way combatively with Elon. They're just saying there are some people that you don't want to really have them tell you what they're working on last week. But other than that, I think everyone thought it was a pretty ingenious idea. We have to find out where these people are. Who are they? And we said, if you don't respond, we assume you're not around.
And that holds, that stands.
And you're not getting paid anymore, too. So, you know, we're doing a real job. And we just had a poll come out, I guess the Harvard poll, saying that it's massively popular what we're doing.
I mean, President Trump is just on a roll. The other day when he actually just basically peeled the face off of the Maine governor and then handed it back to her, you know, because she's going to allow trans athletes compete at the high school level. These lunatics have learned nothing from the election results. Nothing. And it's fine. She's going to lose badly on this. And even RFK Jr. has now come out as our Health and Human Services director and said, quote, a woman is an adult female. Bum, ba-dum-bum. You know, something that simplistic has taken us how many years to get that emphatic? The courts are not going to look well on this for Maine, and she's done politically like that absolutely incompetent and corrupt mayor of Los Angeles, along with Gavin Newsom. He's cooked now. He's had to bend the knee to Trump to try to get federal funding in there. They can't afford to do what he wants to do. And apparently the investors, because they have been exposed, who are going to come in, and the governor was basically going to give them that property and then develop it and resell it, and not to the people that actually own it, because people like me have been running our mouths and it's been exposed all over online. The investors have backed off, and now Gavin Newsom had to get on his knees and beg Trump for federal funds, and Trump said, you'll only get them if, number one, we get to put somebody there that's actually in charge of doling it out so that we can track where it's going. Oh, and you will have laws and enforce voter ID. Until that's taken care of, not one penny is coming from the federal coffers to help you. And Gavin said, fine. And Trump is just on a roll. And he was on a roll with this issue with Elon Musk.
I think that Doge could benefit from more streamlined communications. There was that email telling employees to give 5 things that they've done last week. Agency heads then told people to ignore it, but Elon Musk...
about the last email that was sent, where he wanted to know what you did this week. You know why he wanted that, by the way? I thought it was great. Because we have people that don't show up to work and nobody even knows if they work for the government. So by asking the question, tell us what you did this week, what he's doing is saying, are you actually working? And then if you don't answer, like you're sort of semi-fired or you're fired, because a lot of people are not answering because they don't even exist. They're trying to find, that's how badly various parts of our government were run by, and especially by this last group. So what they're doing is they're trying to find out who's working for the government. Are we paying other people that aren't working? And, you know, where's the money going? We have found hundreds of billions of dollars of fraud so far, and we've just started.
Oh, really? In other words, we're releasing paychecks to people who don't exist. How efficient is the revenue of the federal government? You know, the thing that gets me is everybody knows that the government is corrupt and inept. You don't want the government in charge of anything. Literally, you don't want them in charge of anything. They're releasing the paychecks to people who don't even exist because they can't even verify. And that was part of why Musk sent that email out the way he did. You said, are you like real people? And his crack team of IT young guys that are in there, and they have inserted algorithms now in all those computer systems, and the reports they're getting and the fraud they're discovering, oh baby, oh baby, oh baby. And look at the people that are complaining about it. The Democrats, why? You worried we're going to find out about the kickbacks you've been getting and how you've been siphoning some of this stuff for yourself? Again, complaining about this is like you were away on vacation for a week, and as soon as you get back, you discover your house has been robbed, and your neighbor comes running over and says, look, on my cell phone, I videoed the people that were leaving the house with your stuff, and the license number's on there. I got it for you. And you get mad at them because they didn't have your permission to video on your property. Wait, what? I have the evidence of the thieves who robbed you. And you're mad that I videoed on your property without your... Wait, what? That's what the Democrats are trying to say about Elon Musk. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, and I've been saying it ad nauseum, I had to say it to one of my own offspring today. He's got access to our secret data. There are no secret datas. We are an online society. All of your stuff, my stuff, it's out there. It's out there. And who's got it right now? A bunch of bureaucrats, swamp dwellers in Washington, D.C. We didn't elect these people. We don't know who they are. We don't know if they're the ones that sell our information to the dark web. Bump-a-dum-bump. So give me a break. All of this is, the demons are screaming because they're getting cast out. That's what this is all about. Donald Trump keeps rolling and the poll numbers keep climbing.